These issues have gotten so bad that Nintendo is offering refunds. Today we are going to be talking about Pokemon. This is the second Pokemon video we've done this week. I felt like we needed to do an update because the unthinkable has happened. The patches came out and the game is still broken. I've heard from some people they've actually managed to play it without running into issues. I'm shocked by that. But for a lot of people, the issues are there and they're really bad. And they still exist. So basically, these issues have gotten so bad that Nintendo is offering refunds. I don't think it's the Pokemon Company or Game Freak, and no one's really apologized for it yet. No one who's responsible anyway. But Nintendo is offering people money now because of how bad this game is, the type of shape that it's in. Which at least gives me more respect for them than Sega with Sonic 06. So let's talk about this.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that they would bother to do a refund. But to be fair, there's been multiple updates now, and there's still a lot of game-breaking bugs. Like the state it was released in is shameful. They should feel ashamed for it. I'm glad that they're allowing people to get refunds for this, because this is unacceptable. And I really hope that because of how bad it is and the fact that they have to give out refunds, it will make it will make Nintendo or Game Freak, one of the two, if not both, buckle down and actually work harder on their games so something like this will never happen again, because it shouldn't have happened in the first place, and the fact that it did is terrible.
So I've been keeping a close eye on this since day one. On day one, even though I was really sick, I still recorded a video because I knew that this was big. And I was right. This game has become a giant meme. There are compilations every day being uploaded of glitches and bugs and terrible things happening. I saw someone the other day trying to find a way to glitch themselves up a mountain by challenging Pokemon that were way above them to see if they could actually get their character to teleport. And by the end of it, they succeeded. I have seen some crazy stuff done with this game, and yes, some of them do soft lock. So this game is something else. And I've seen the articles of people saying that they've gone too far this time, comparing it to Sonic the Hedgehog, pointing out that releasing multiple games a year is a terrible thing to do, and they're being way too ambitious with these big open world games coming out yearly. So hopefully Game Freak listens up and they fix their path while they still can, because you may have gotten big sales, you may have sold more than last time, but you're losing people's respect. Sonic Heroes did really well, but that doesn't mean that Sonic Heroes is a good game. That doesn't mean that Sonic Heroes wasn't the first game down a slippery slope of questionable quality. You need to focus and you need to start putting more effort into these games. If a game's looking like this, don't release it. Work on it for another year. Work on it for another 2 years. Work on it till it's done. You represent Nintendo, and Nintendo releases better games than this, and it's shameful that Pokemon would release in such a state, especially after the standards that they set in the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is it's such a big name brand. If you have a big fall like this, a big tumble, people are going to point at you, laugh at you, and mock you, because you should be above it all. You should not have such a broken, buggy mess. And this is just what happens when you're creating games back to back to back, year after year. You need to allow yourself time to stop and go slow on things. Make sure it's polished. Make sure it's good. People love Pokemon. It'll be okay if they don't have another new Pokemon game for 2 to 3 years. Maybe longer. Maybe up to 5 years. People will wait. People might get impatient, but by the time that new game comes out and that new game is really good, people will be happy. And the thing is, you don't have to keep making a mainline game every year, or a remake every year. You could go back and redo or continue creating older spin-off games like the Mystery Dungeon series or Pokemon Rangers. Those were pretty popular back when, and you haven't made anything like that in a while. That would definitely be something that could hold people over.
You know what my advice would be? My advice would be every year, first of all, release one big game like you did now. If you manage to fix this one, good for you. But every year, release a giant update for your big game. Release a new region that adds on to the map. Release new Pokemon for that. Release new challenges for that. Do like 2 to 3 years of updates instead of releasing a whole new game. Build on what you've got before you do anything else. Xenoverse 2 is still getting updates. It is still getting DLC. One's Justice, the My Hero Academia game, is still getting DLC. That is the future of gaming. You release a game and you keep updating it for a long time. I know that's kind of scary for people hopping in later, but the people who were there from the start get a lot of content and you don't have to release games yearly. I think that's what Pokemon should do.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that could work, especially if they do release like smaller little regions attached to it so they don't have to continue to make one great big new game from scratch every time. Because they have plenty of time to work on it and have more focus on making an actual mainline game later on down the line as well. And people have been wanting games that let you go to different regions for a while, and we haven't had anything like that since Gen 2 with Gold, Silver, and then their remakes. But people have been begging for that since, like, the 3rd or 4th gen? 4th gen for sure, at least. So, something like that, and definitely just adding more DLC, more stuff to do, more areas to explore, that could definitely work out. Because it's little things that you could just add on piece by piece. It's not, you don't have to make a whole new game in one big go.
So yeah, Pokemon failed, Game Freak failed, but this failure doesn't have to mean anything. They can either pick themselves back up and do better next time, or they can continue to release subpar games until it inevitably catches up with them. These are the two paths that they have, and now all we can do is wait and watch.
It's sad, because I knew this was coming.